We're going to keep in order with the kata. So we have the kata to start. 1, turn. 1, 2, turn. This is about double hand movement. The next movement of the kata is in, down, change direction with it. So the first part of the arm, this circle, what could it be used for? Why could it be useful? Well, 2 reasons. One is, we're going to start with a maigiri, with a front kick. Front kick attack, Shihan. Okay? Easy attack. The first thing we learn about a lower arm position is that as the arm comes down, I'm going to push my hip forwards. Here. If I leave my hip back, I'm going to get hit. So what I'm doing from here is this, through. We've got this leg forward in the kata, and the arm is just simply dropping. So what's the use? Well, maigiri, simple exercise, catch. It's a backhand catch. The front hand is held up to protect. But what I'm going to do is hit in, catch. The next movement of the kata, you'll notice, is to change direction. The other arm extends out, which is both protective and useful. And then we're going to step, you've got to throw, take down, you've got various things. So we come from this position. Regardless of the foot position, I'm after metaphor. So we're here, we catch the leg, up, the other arm comes across the body, and there's a throw, a takedown, driving him into the ground, whatever you need to do. One more time is here. Here, change. This is the critical part. From here you can roll him over. There's the kata, or you can just throw him into the ground. But ultimately, catch the leg, change hands. Catch the leg, change hands. These are simple drills. They're drills we all know from kumite and sparring. Simple taisabaki exercises, catching, taking down. But all I'm trying to do is put them into a kata mind. So when you're practicing Bassai Dai or many other kata, you can start to apply them in not only a self-defense way, most bunkai, but more into a kumite strategy. So, I'm going to change my attack for a moment. It doesn't matter. But what I'm going to do now is kizami joga. Kizami is a jab. Okay? So there's the technique. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to come out to the side. We've practiced this way, coming out this way. So this time I want to come out to the other side. It's this. Simply. This is a soft hand. Soft. Not brittle and hard. If you're brittle and hard, things bounce off it. The moment I make contact, he knows it's been blocked. So here, he's drawing it back. You know, kizami, that jab out and back. The moment I create that, he knows it's blocked. It's coming back into his guard position. So I want soft hands. Here. Okay? Soft. At the same time, back foot, front foot with the agaki. This way. Okay? This way. Okay? We'll try and get it into flow. Right? Creating the angle. Okay? Most people do kizami, yaki. That's the basic attack. So by clearing myself out of the way, weight in, just managed to get out of the way of the technique and create a back. A little quicker. Here. Okay? 1, 2. Train it. 1, 2. Hey. We're here. 1, 2. Still the metaphor of changing hands. Up. The next movement of the kata is 1, 2. 1, 2. Just putting it into a fight metaphor, a kumite metaphor. Moving on, I want to give you a slightly more advanced version, or perhaps another way to think about the next movement of the kata. The kata from here is to punch, block, and pivot of the hips. So what could that be used for? How could it be useful? All I'm changing this into is a slightly different use of my gyakuzuki. So from here we're going to block. I'm now going to use this to trap. And my leg, the pivot of the hip, there's a take. Okay? Switch. But this idea is useful in lots of different ways. This is one of them. Once again, here, trap. Notice because his front leg is forward, Kizami, it's quite difficult to take him down from that perspective. And all I'm doing is learning to play with his energy, play with his chi, where the energy center is. One, this way. Okay? Slightly different, opening him up. I'll show you two with this exercise and then we're going to move on to the other one. This is another slightly useful one, but against the Gyakuzuki. Okay, so what we know is the formal position of the kata is here. So let's extrapolate that into kumite. One. When I punch, I'm going to punch on the inside. Okay? I'm going to trap this way. So, this. I'm using this as an opportunity now to trap the arm. Okay? There's your technique. I'm trying to ask you to understand the kata from more of a sparring idea. How to trap an opponent, how to move someone's center, how to move around someone, and what the movements could teach us. This is the most important part of it, is what the movements can lead us to develop. And this is what I'm asking you to step out of. This is the absolute meaning, and more into this as a metaphor and a way of teaching us something that becomes valuable. There's a slightly more complicated version, and the more complicated version is the kata, you know, we're here and we go 1, 2. So there's two movements in the kata, okay? So what I'm doing now is I'm doing two movements. I've got 1, catch. From here, this is the first block, punch, block. I'm now going to reverse my position, and I'm going to punch across, and I'm going to pull my elbow back into position. And there's your technique. So what I'm doing is I'm using both of them. This one now, catch, pull, up, down, hit. This is both movements. And all I'm asking you to do is to play with it, have a bit of fun, and step outside of the basics. Say, how could I apply this in kumite? How could it become useful? 1, catch, hit, this way. Okay, there's your 2.